Hi and welcome to the first ever Above It live video, or live. I've never done this before, and so welcome. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a pharmacist and a dentist, and as you can see, I've launched Above It. I want to help women, particularly women in healthcare or dentistry, to rise above their stress and not be burnt out, and to figure out exactly what it is they want to achieve out of their life and their career. I've lots to share with you, but today, considering I'm starting up my dental practice for the third time, I'd like to share with you what goes into making a dental practice. I know that lots of aspiring dentists or aspiring health professionals want to maybe eventually own their own practice. So here's my side of things and what I've been through and how my mind works and what my thought processes are to making a dental practice work. So the first thing is your idea and your why. You have to have a why. Why is it that you want to achieve this goal of yours? Is it your family? Is it your ambitions? Is it you want independence? Do you want to do something a little bit outside the square of your profession? Do you think that you're going to make lots of money? It's actually very hard work, to be honest, and you don't start making money for a little bit of time. The profits come in after your first year or two, if you're lucky enough to have done your research properly. So with that idea, do you want a big practice? Do you want a little practice? Do you want to go slow, go fast? You've got to then choose your location. So you do your research. Research is very important. You have to know where you're going to set up, why, what the needs are of the community, how many other practices are around you that offer the same services, and also with those practices near you, how do you stand out from those? So what can you offer to stand out from those practices? So this research is very important. You look at the census data, you look at Google Maps, use everything at your disposal on the internet to find out how and where to have your practice set up. So once you've decided where you're going to have your practice, you need to choose your actual location. So that can take some time. Are you going to rent? Are you going to buy a practice location, a building? For example, in my last two practices, I rented the first time. Second time, I found a bank which I gutted out. And now with my third practice, I've got a building where I'm gutting it out. So from there, how much work do you want to do? And how much experience do you have or do you want to get a hold of? From that idea and research comes your passion. Are you passionate? And what are your reasons for wanting to have a dental practice? It's not going to make you a lot of money straight away. It's very costly actually. Compared to other businesses, your outlay is hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I think that's where patients and the general population don't understand that your machinery, even the smallest little bit of equipment or plastic or tool that you use is very expensive. And it comes from overseas. You've got to pay the taxes and you pay the dental companies on top because you can't get it all direct. You've got to go through the TGA approved windows. So then it gets costly, and then to actually run it, you've got a lot of electricity, water, the plumbing itself, and I'll show you a video of the practice set out at the moment, where we're about 3 to 4 weeks off from actually opening. What it looks like, the underneath of where a chair sits, the rooms, how things are provisioned, and we've got a plant room, a lab. It's crazy what you need to have a dental practice. So getting back to where we're going, we've set our research. So once you've come to a decision, you need to get funding. Where does this funding come from? Well, the banks. So you need to approach lenders. And if you've never had a practice before, if you haven't been working for too long and haven't shown that you have a constant income flow, it can work against you, and you've got to then formulate very long, laborious, but detailed business plans. So you've got to then know how to do a business plan, regardless of whether you've got experience or not working in a dental practice or owning your own. If you've owned your own, you've gained your stripes, you've proven your way, and so lending can be a little bit easier as well. So people who are borrowing for the first time, please contact the big banks, your lenders, a broker. Just go to a lot of different places and find out the best way for you to get your funding. Once you've got your funding, you've got your location, you need to then make it happen. So there's a few ways you can make it happen. You can firstly do the fit out and the managing and the design all on your own. I would not recommend that. There is so much detail of where pipes have to be, cornices, types of coved flooring, a whole lot of regulations that you need to know inside out so that you have a practice that complies with Australian standards, or if you're in another part of the world, other standards of the world. So from there, you then can also engage a designer. So if you've got a designer, then you can either go for builders and hire your own trades, which can get very, very complicated. I've done that in the bush where I haven't had the opportunity to have a fit out company come out, and I use local trades. It was the first time they had ever done a dental practice. There are so many regulations and rules as to thicknesses of pipes, where things go, waste. You've got to get your compliance certificates from the council, your DA approvals if you need those, if you're building from scratch particularly. So you need a whole lot of hoops to go through so that you can have a functioning practice that is legal, really. And from there, the other option is you have a fit-out company that designs as well. That probably is your easiest option, because even with the option before where you have your fit-out company and your designer design things, there's a whole lot of gaps and things missed, and you always have to make variations to the scope of works and in order to cover everything, particularly with old buildings. If it's a new build from scratch, it's quite easy, or if it's a completely empty shell of a new building, it's much easier. Let me tell you, concrete, I'm standing on it right now. It got poured the other day. It's going to get polished in a few days. It's going to look absolutely magnificent, completely different to what it looks like now. But concrete, costly. You need to cut the concrete on the floor to run pipes and electricals and waste, and yeah, it's probably the most expensive type of work, along with sort of knocking out walls and doors, which I've also had to do. So from there, if you have a fit-out company that's magnificent at both, you are winning. It's so much easier to have a practice that way. And then you've got to also think about how you're going to run the practice. So what equipment do you need? You need to have planned that from before, so then you have the designs ready and right for your equipment, and also provisioning. So if you're going to have a 5-chair practice, for example, and you don't want to buy the 5 chairs from the start, you don't have to, and I would suggest you don't, unless you're relocating and you're really busy and you're just moving your current patient base to another location. But if you're starting from scratch and you haven't got a prior patient base, I'd suggest putting 1 or 2 chairs in. That might work for you. It certainly works for me, and then you can always put the other chairs in straight after, as soon as you need them, over a few days, without any sort of break in your work or loss of income. So after that, you then, I'm hearing the beautiful birds. It's really nice. This corridor is my favourite. I can hear all the sounds of outside right now. It will be changed a little bit. So after you, I'll just get my train of thought again. Talking about the concrete, I'm just so passionate about this concrete. It's just so gorgeous underneath what's there. You've got to see it. I'll have to show you some videos. I'll have to do another live after this. Your equipment. So once the equipment's been ordered, you've got to make sure it's within your budget, and keep to the budget, because there's always extra costs that you can't even imagine that come out. So you've got to have a bit extra so that you can move and get this practice off the ground. With equipment then comes training. So what individuals can help you get the workload off yourself so they can train your team, train you, and get systems in place. The systems are your responsibility as the practice owner, if you're a practice owner, and you've got to get them in place really early so that once your team begins, they know what they're doing. You've got to lead efficiently. So when the team begins, first you've got to choose the team. So now the stage that I'm at the moment is that I'm hiring teams for this practice, and I've got ads on Seek, ads on my website, ads on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, wherever people see. And you've got to just put it out there. The best way to hire people is through people you know. So if someone knows someone, interview them. Don't go in blindly and just accept them as being wonderful. You just have to treat them like anybody else. Look at the facts, look at their credentials, and if they pass the first stage of your sort of little test and things that you are looking for, then you meet up with them. After that, hiring the team. How many people do you hire in your team? So, do you hire 2 dentists, 1 dentist, 2 receptionists, 1 receptionist, 2 dental assistants, or 1, or 5? Like it's entirely up to your business model and your budget. I wouldn't go hiring too many people at once. That's not very wise. You will soon run out of funds to run your practice. The other thing, apart from staff, after you've hired them, is to actually train them. So you need to invest the time. Be a leader and invest the time and train them in an ordered manner. It can't just be a flurry of bit of this, bit of that, bit of that. I, for example, have created a program that my staff are all going to do over time, so it all doesn't happen in a week, but in the first couple of weeks, it's very intense. And before we even go live with seeing our clients and our patients, it's super, super detailed, because I want them to be ready, to know what we have to offer, to know where the practice is headed at, and what type of practice and ambience and feel that we are actually creating. So there you have it. This is a dental practice from start to finish. There's a lot more that goes in it, and I would love to share my knowledge with you in other live videos and online. But do please check out my website, aboveit.com.au. See how we can help you. I offer one-on-one coaching sessions, along with coaching course journeys. Workshops are coming very soon, along with retreats once COVID restrictions do ease. Thank you to all our viewers. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support for this first ever live for Above It. I'm here for you. Please shoot me an email at hello@aboveit.com.au if you have any questions, or if you want me to talk about anything in particular. Give me the topics. Tell me what's burning questions you've got, and I'll be there for you. So see you soon, and I hope to chat and meet with you in the future. Welcome to Above It. Balance your life and master your craft. Thank you. See you.